When OCD really hits, when you get that horrible feeling in the pit of your stomach, when you're looking for that certainty, when you're struggling with the doubt, it's a really, really horrible place to find yourself. And it's so difficult to know what to do in these situations. I find it helpful to actually think about this like a kind of snowstorm. When we're really struggling with OCD, really what's happening is that there's a huge storm going on inside. There's winds, there's snow falling down in a really heavy way, and it's kind of, we can't really see properly in that moment. There's so much snow, there's so much wind, it's so cold that the best thing that we can do in that situation is actually, to kind of not venture out into it. I think so often when we're really struggling with OCD, we tell ourselves that we need to venture out into that snowstorm because what we need to do is we need to find the solution. We're feeling so bad, we're feeling so awful that to wait around and do nothing, well, that seems ridiculous. That seems like the kind of worst thing that you could do because you're going to get more and more stuck in the snow. You're kind of never going to find your way out of this. And, this is a really good trap that OCD kind of sets for us because, it uses our best intentions against us. If you're somebody with OCD, most probably you're a good problem solver. You're somebody who uses your intellect on a regular basis to solve many different problems in your day-to-day life. And so what you do when you struggle on an emotional level with OCD is, of course, you try to bring that kind of same set of principles to the issue. You bring problem solving, you bring your analytical thinking skills. Only because it's an emotional problem, it doesn't really work. And, very much what really tends to happen in this situation is it's like we're entering, into a snowstorm. We're leaving our home. And even though that the storm is really going on, the snow is really falling very heavy, we head out there anyway. And of course, we're going to run into problems. We're going to get stuck. Potentially, it's a dangerous thing to do. It's not going to help us. We might get lost in that snow. So what should we do instead? And if you're struggling with the OCD snowstorm, I do now have a 12-week program specifically designed for people who struggle with OCD and anxiety. It's based on my own personal experiences with these things and from the work that I've done with hundreds of people who have struggled with OCD and anxiety. If you would like to book in for a free discovery call to find out more about that, you can by heading over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes, and now on with the rest of the episode. Well, I think learning how to get over OCD is in part recognizing when the storm is happening, because so often when it is happening, we are perhaps not aware, we don't realize it's happening, or even if we do recognize that actually it's OCD, it's not something that needs to be investigated. Even when we might know that or have some suspicion about that, the temptation to get out there in that snowstorm anyway and to try to, to resolve it, to fix it, is very, very strong. And so often we get pulled into that anyway. And it's recognizing that, that is the trap of the OCD, that we don't have to do that we can actually take a different path here. And that actually involves just waiting. If we wait for some time, at some point, that snowstorm is really going to settle down. And I think, another metaphor within the metaphor here is actually to think about a snow globe. Obviously, when we're really struggling with OCD, what we're doing is we're shaking that snow globe. And, you can't see the picture. When you do that, you're not able to have any clarity. You're not able to see clearly what's going on. However, after you shake that snow globe, if you wait a certain amount of time, at some point, of course, everything's going to settle down and you're going to be able to see that picture much more clearly. And it's the same here in this situation. What we need to learn to do a lot of the time with OCD is to do nothing at all, to actually stay at home and to kind of wait for that snowstorm to settle down. Because when it does, you're going to have clarity. You're going to be able to see things more clearly. The problems might still remain to some degree, but most probably now, because you didn't venture out into it, you can see the OCD more clearly. You can recognize that you don't need to go down particular rabbit holes and get yourself stuck. And maybe actually even, because there's now snow everywhere, perhaps the picture of your life is a bit more beautiful, a bit more interesting, a little bit less threatening. And obviously that can help you then to now leave your house, but in a much more positive way, to be able to kind of move forward with your day more in line with your values and your goals. So many thanks. I really hope that you enjoyed that one. Remember, I do offer a free discovery call. To get that, you can head over to my website at robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes, and I will see you next time. This video is for education only. It's not therapy or medical advice. If you're struggling, please speak with a licensed mental health professional.